What's up, everybody? I'm Icy Cat, and this is the Siege Report, your weekly podcast for all things Rainbow Six, where we break down all the latest news and information and get the perspective of a new guest that's influential in the Siege community as we break it all down. And here to introduce that first guest is my co-host, Nukem Duke.
Hey guys, what's going on? So we have a unique guest. Actually, we found out it's actually two of them, but I will go ahead and let them introduce themselves. We have the Dangleberries.
Should I go first, though?
Yeah, so my name is Alan and I'm from the Dangleberries. So there's, as Nukem said, that there's actually two of us running the channel.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know that, but we're new to the whole Siege community scene over the last kind of year or so, and we've been working together for years as friends and with the kind of Call of Duty community, and we moved over to the Siege community to really see what all this hype about Siege itself. And I think, Chris, you'll agree that it's one of the best games to ever come out over the last few years, definitely. Anyway,
100%.
It's so unique. It's a completely different aspect on the whole FPS community altogether, you know.
Yeah, so like, is this the other guy that you usually see in the video? Because there's always like someone's putting up the shield where someone's like boosting the other player.
Yeah, that's us, dude. That's us. It's usually, would you agree, Al? I'm usually the dominant one, and you're always the person rocking the shield.
I'm always the lackey rocking the shield, making sure everything goes to plan. Yeah.
Don't be fooled though. He is the mastermind behind most of our greatest spots.
So if someone's not familiar with his channel, how would you guys describe what you guys do in the Siege community for your content?
I'll jump in here, Al. So it's like so initially, if I was to describe to somebody what our channel is about, we were kind of we're like an anti-meta. We're like an anti-meta channel for Siege. Like we like me personally, coming from a competitive FPS background, along with Alan, we're always like, you know, a lot of teams like to play the meta. They watch pro players play, how they play, whatever, and we try to bring new stuff to try and throw a spanner in the works, kind of a thing, you know. So we're like, some things are very controversial, as you'll agree with me, and other things, I mean, we see pro league players like Noted, and others will be using spots on Consulate or Cafe. They actually use them throughout the pro league. I don't know if you know that, so you can actually see that. So it's like, while they're controversial, some of them are well within bounds and actually make some areas of the game more playable, more workable. So that's what we're trying to do. That's what we try to do. We try to give people more options.
One thing I've noticed is that when I watch your videos, you guys have a definite style. I mean, there is some production value there that I find really interesting as somebody that's a professional editor in my day job. You guys have like this great music going on, these interesting, consistent fonts and effects going on, the editing style. I mean, before you talk about a section of the map where you're saying something is happening, you'll do like this fly-through, walk-through kind of thing, and it's just really interesting style of presentation. Can you talk a little bit about like kind of why you guys chose that route?
I think initially when we first started doing Siege videos, we were kind of getting used to the game, getting used to the features available to us. So when we discovered this idea of making cinematics, considering it's not actually part of the game itself, we went and looked at different operators and maybe something we could use with one of those operators to create those cinematics. And we thought that would bring a whole new aspect to the video. I think some people kind of want to get straight in there, get what they want, their tips and tricks, and then get out of there. But there's a lot of people I think want to see some sort of professionalism to the video, bring it to another level where they can sit back, watch the video, learn what they're seeing, and at the same time enjoy the video at the same time. So the music is something that we work a lot with. We know a few music creators that we've become friendly with who've created tracks to work with our videos, and we've become friendly with a lot of people in the community to let us do that. And then when it comes to the cinematics, I think it's just giving that kind of flow. You'll see in some of our videos, it's like it's flowing from one hiding spot or one position to another, just so people can follow exactly where you're going, where this spot is in the map. And then on top of that, it just gives this really kind of like, how would you say, like tranquil feel to watching the video. You just kind of sit there and you just forget the timer, you forget how long the video is. And then all of a sudden it's over and you're like, what? I want to see some more. So that is our absolute aim, is making sure that people stay engaged, stay watching our content. Don't leave a minute in, keep watching us. I guarantee you will enjoy it. Okay, as Chris said earlier, you know, our content is controversial. We dip on that line of, you know, what are you trying to do? But I think that we're still within a realm where we want to make sure that the people who are watching our videos enjoy it 100%.
I have a question. Part of the controversy, what if people are not familiar, like you show different boost spots where you can like get on top of a very building where someone can't see you. It's like all these hard stuff that people would never check. So do you guys like come up with that yourselves? Do you like spend hours figuring this stuff, or you have people helping out?
You have no idea.
Like we have some behind the scenes clips of when we actually find this kind of stuff. And I mean, we could make a video of our reactions. We're genuinely like excited, like we go insane. I think on average, if we were to put a video together, what we try to do is we try to find like one or two like overwhelmingly mind-blowing spots, and then we try to throw in a handful of like, smaller ones, but they're still interesting. But yeah, when it comes to the big spots, like we would spend hours on maps. Recently we got some competition. But other than that, before that, it was strictly all us. It was all us. We found mostly everything.
Yeah, like we kind of started the trend of doing that kind of stuff, and then people followed suit, and we had a lot of competition. So we had to work overtime to try and make sure that we were ahead of them. So yes, hours and hours spent in custom games, just tearing the maps apart, looking at every single area that you might not normally look at to see if there's something available there. So I think it's definitely something that we've been trying to kind of be at the forefront from, but competition is always going to be there. So, it's a difficult thing.
I have one last question for you guys. So a lot of people don't know, like you guys live in different parts of the world, and like how you guys coordinate working with each other and upload, and who does the editing, who does the voiceover.
It's a joint effort. I mean, we're both, one video might be edited by Alan, voiced over by Alan. Next video might be edited by me and voiced over by me. It's actually, me and Ella would know when we watch a video who did what, but I don't think to the average viewer they could actually tell the difference. Like
we're very much in sync with the design structure. We lay it out beforehand and we work with that to make sure that we have an idea of how the voiceover is going to go and how the video itself is going to go. So I think we've always mixed it up in that respect and made sure that they were always the same style and that we weren't going off in different directions and kind of getting a bit annoyed with each other. It has absolutely been very difficult with the time differences. It's an 8-hour difference.
One's in San Diego, nocturnal. One's in Poland, or I mean
Ireland.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's tough. It's tougher, right? 100%.
I think Alan will agree with me. It helps that I'm a nocturnal creature. So
this guy never sleeps like at all. Like he's just, I don't know how he survives. Caffeine is at an all-time level high. Like I don't. Oh yeah. He's gonna blow up at some point. I'd say.
I'm gonna crash soon.
So most of your videos are centered around giving people information as far as like, how to access these like cool spots or, areas that they might not have known how to get into and things like that. But today I actually saw that you uploaded a really interesting video that was almost, in fact, it was called a rant, just about some major problems that were going on in the game and, how that related to Operation Health and what you thought about them. Can you share a little bit more with us about what that was about?
Shall we jump on, Al?
Yeah, work away.
Okay, so... like Alan said earlier, I'm not saying we started the trend or anything, but I think we can agree that some of our hide and spot videos did definitely encourage other YouTubers to try and do the same thing. And what happened was a few of them were starting to get out of hand, where they would upload stuff that we knew about, that we knew was very beyond the line of controversy, was completely unbalanced, unfair. And they posted them, and it was kind of like, we can't let this happen. We felt kind of partially responsible because... we would post similar types of content, but they'd always be in the realm of they'd only give an advantage of the advantage you get from our spots would be of element of surprise. If you didn't know about the spot, you'd get caught off. But these guys are uploading spots where you're invincible, like you're unkillable, like you can see through, you can shoot through the wall. They're basically wall breaches, and we were like just getting out of hand. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I think that was definitely a thing that like. What we posted today was a long-running issue that we were starting to have. Initially, when we started posting that kind of controversial content, I think we were always trying to make sure that we could expose these issues for them to be fixed. And it did happen. We did contact Ubisoft on numerous occasions, and they did respond to us, and they did patch a lot of our content. 100%, they got behind us, and they did help us to remove some of those issues from the game. But then in the last like maybe 5 to 6 weeks, it's just kind of completely just gone off the wall with regards to new stuff like gradually appearing, like glitches that you would have never thought would be possible in the game, but they are now. And I think we just kind of got very frustrated. I think that's why we took a little bit of a break for the last kind of 10 days to 2 weeks to just kind of collect ourselves and just agree that this is something that needs to stop. And I think for everyone in the Siege community, we all love this game. We all love to play it. Okay, it can be frustrating at times. There's absolutely
no denying that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think it's a game that you're gonna love or hate, but with all these problems in it and people exposing it, it's gonna destroy the game. And I think the future of this game, considering it is such a unique style of game that there's nothing competing with it right now, I just don't want to see it die because of all these problems. And I think that's something what we had to address. And I think that's why we posted that today, to agree that this is the next step is to fix this game finally and make it what it is.
See, so every week we keep asking our guests, what do you guys think of this current season of Operation Health? And I was wondering what your guys' thoughts on it.
Will I jump in for this, Alan?
Yeah, start it off, Chris.
So, all right. So you've heard partially, if you watched the video Ice Kid, I know you did, that I was a bit ranty. So it's like, I completely understand. We're in the third phase of Operation Health now, where they're finally addressing community reported bugs and glitches. So we're like, okay, well, it's going to be over soon. I mean, Operation Health's scheduled to end, 27th of this month, 27th of August? Around the same time as the Pro League, I think. So it's like, when the season ends. So our thoughts were, these bugs still haven't been fixed. I mean, personally, I love the new hit registration. I know a lot of people are complaining about it, but I genuinely feel it. I feel that the hit registration is much better now. I feel that the server tick rates are definitely noticeable. I feel that the one-step matchmaking was a huge improvement. I mean, me and Ellen were waiting in a particular lobby before the update for over 40 minutes without realizing, editing a video. Or like, why don't we still have a game? What the hell's going on? So that was a big issue. So we're happy that all those are fixed. A lot of people are just giving Ubisoft a lot of unnecessary hate, I feel. I mean, they took a brave decision to step back and stop publishing content to fix a game. Not a lot of companies would have the courage to do that. I mean, a lot of companies would announce that they're not dropping content that you've paid for a season pass, and that's almost like that's like company suicide, But I think they trusted the community to trust them, and I still kind of do trust them. They have a long time left. They have like over a month left of Operation Health to fix things.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think like Operation Health has been a little bit bumpy. There's no doubt about that. I think what they initially promised to us was that they would work with us as a community to fix these problems and make sure that they were resolved by the end of Operation Health. And we're kind of at this stage where it's coming to an end, and we're still like, did they do enough? And that's the question everyone's asking themselves. Did they step up and do the job they said they would, considering they removed content from people who've paid money for the season? I know the season pass is only for getting extra a week or whatever and all that kind of stuff, but I still think that it's something that a lot of people are going to be like, did they do enough to fix this game? Did they enough? And from a game development, I studied game development in university. I actually have a game development company myself, so I understand how difficult it actually is to fix all these issues in such a short period of time. That's always going to be a problem for any development company. So I would never say they've done enough. I think that they've fixed issues that were definitely massive problems in the game, and people are constantly uncovering new ones. And that's with any game. I think any game you look at online, you're going to find massive glitches and problems and controversy that people are always going to bring to people's attention. That's unfortunate. Communities are massive. There's hundreds of thousands of people playing these games. You're going to come across these issues. And I think it's inevitable that, they are never going to be able to keep up with the community. I mean, there's only a select group of developers sitting in an office and there's millions of people playing the game. You're going to have that problem where you're never going to be able to keep up with those people. And I think that's why we've posted some of the content in a way to expose it, and we've sent it to Ubisoft directly and told them this is something that is huge. Like, there's a new glitch that came out recently where it's infinite doc health, where you can give
what?
Doc infinite stim packs into his arm, and he's off to go, and he'll never die. And
insane.
It must be an elite doc or something.
Yeah, that is madness, and that's something that needs to be addressed. And I think that's why we did the video today. We posted on the forum to make people go on there and vote it and share that forum thread, because it needs to be shown to them so that they can fix these issues. But overall, myself and Chris are in agreement that Operation Health has done stuff, but I wouldn't say it's enough right now. I hope that they will bring out with this next update that they will work more on those issues, but I think it's like still kind of on the fence about how they're going to approach it. And as I said, it does take a lot of time for these guys to work together to fix these issues. And with new ones coming out every day, they're trying to prioritize them. And that's always going to be a problem,
Yeah.
With
Exactly.
Operation Health, they had 3 pillars that they were essentially trying to go after. The first one was, of course, one-step matchmaking, which I think we can all agree has really streamlined the process and made things good. Alpha Packs was another one. And then, of course, there were some other things in there, like bug fix sprints, as they called them, and the other big one being the servers, that they were going to get these new servers going. They were going to have a 60 tick rate, whereas before they had a 50 tick rate, but it was variable, and sometimes it would go up or down with a variable tick rate. But so these are being tested currently on the technical test server at the moment, and they said that they will be rolling these out toward the end of Operation Health, but also kind of overlapping into the next season as well with rolling out these servers and things. How do you think that they've, as far as the way they've approached that it's kind of bleeding into the next season, but also what it's going to bring to stability to the game? What do you think about that?
Ask your average competitive player in ranked. The number one thing everyone complains about is connection, right? You know what I mean? Like hit registration. So, so I mean, they're addressing, if they can find a way to make the latency make the latency better, make the hit registration better. I think people are just going to love that. Like they're going to, especially all the higher up tier people that like, I know it's kind of 50-50 whether it is connection half the time, but everyone loves to blame their connection on why they didn't get the kill or whatever. So I think it's definitely going to bring it's going to bring some players back. It's going to keep players playing the game, and it's going to make transitioning into next season. It's going to make the next DLC more popular, in my opinion.
That's absolutely the ultimate aim. I think is they have to make sure that what they're bringing to the table over the next kind of month or so is going to bring back the people that they've lost, and that is one of the biggest problems they've had. Is that a huge amount of community. I'm sure a lot of YouTubers have taken breaks because they know that there's a problem with it. They've just stepped away from making videos because they know that this game is a fucking mess. It is a problem for them to post content on. You see, like, even with Serenity, he's posting videos, and it's like it's showing the issues with the game. And I've even seen it watching Pro League. There's actually glitches happening in the actual Pro League matches, and you're sitting there like, this is insane,
Like the crazy long arming through the wall. What match was that?
Yeah, long arming. There's even been Valkyrie cam spots that were completely not supposed to be in there, that have appeared in there.
On Oregon.
On Oregon. Like that's something you just don't want to see, and that's like the Pro League is kind of advertising the game to people who may not have seen it before, and they're watching it and they're like, this is unreal. But when they see that kind of stuff, it kind of pushes them away a little. And that's why YouTubers have taken a break. I think that's one of the reasons why we took a break. We tried to kind of sit back and realize, like, something has to be done about this. And their main goal is to bring back those people. And I think that's absolutely 100% what they have to do.
So one of the main things that brings back people is like the new season, new content, maps, and as well as operator, changes the meta, makes the game like refreshing again. So there was possibly some potential leaks of the new operators. It's unconfirmed, so take this with a grain of salt. There was a picture of a potentially Polish operator, as well as a new weapon or attachment for her weapon, and as well as a Hong Kong female operator. And I don't know what your guys' thoughts on that so far.
I've only seen the image of the Polish operator, and because of the they're changing the character models for Valkyrie and stuff. So when I seen it initially, I was like, that doesn't look like a character design from Siege. Like, actually, I think one of the top comments, one of the Facebook posts was something like, this looks like something straight out of Grand Theft Auto 5 or something, just how the character was designed didn't look like it fit the game. So it was a lot of speculation. It was fake. Like, it is speculation. But then when I seen that they're changed to Valkyrie models, I was like, it's possible. It could be real. I personally don't like to look into that kind of stuff. Alan's the big information geek when it comes to that stuff, so I'm sure Alan will know a lot more than I do on terms of
Well, I mean,
leaks.
he's right. I've looked at all this kind of stuff. I've seen all these leaks. I've seen what they leaked about Hong Kong operators with Caltrop and Dazzler and all the different file names that they've dropped and all the information, and that apparently it's a theme park is the map and all these different things. And, does it hurt the game? It can. I mean, a lot of people will be kind of like initially like, okay, is this what this operator does? And is this the kind of map they're going to bring? Like, honestly, personally, I don't know what they can do if the map is a theme park. I mean, it's going to be very interesting to see how they're going to design that map. It's something that's going to be interesting to see. So I think looking at the weapons and these new abilities and things that they've leaked, I really can't comment on it until I see that they can fix what's wrong with already the operators that are in the game. You know?
I think the speculation builds up. I think that speculation builds up. So
was it a legitimate leak? You know, you just don't know. I just think that
it could be Ubisoft. You know, it could be Ubisoft sneaking in there, throwing out a leak. You know, trying to build a pipe for the hey guys, don't focus on Operation Health.
Well, the interesting thing that was surrounding that was the day that all of that leaked was also the day that Ubisoft announced that they had 10 pro players out to kind of see what was new with the game. And then that same day, after Ubisoft had posted that on Twitter, that, hey, we had these 10 guys out to look at it, all of a sudden, there's a couple of new images. So,
it's very interesting, all right.
Yeah, who knows if they took pictures with their cell phones or whatever, but clearly there seemed to be a coincidence going on there in that timing. So
yeah. Well,
causation and correlation, guys. Causation and correlation.
Well, personally, my thoughts on the leaks is like, I think it hurts us overall as gamers. In the past, Ubisoft used to invite pros to test out the Japanese operators, and they leaked Japanese operators, and so they kind of stopped. And Skull Rain, yeah, they leaked Skull Rain. So and these were professional Rainbow Six players, and they're like, okay, we're tired of leaks. They're not following NDA, so they took a break on that in Velvet Shell. And Velvet Shell launch was a huge mess. Habana was breaking games. People couldn't play the game, and during Operation Health, it's kind of weird that they brought them back. Like, hey, let's bring them to the studios instead of do this testing where everyone's at home. We'll have you guys sign, and then these leaks come out the day that they brought them in. And if we don't have people testing the game outside of development, we're gonna be like have a buggier launch, and it's kind of tough for me and I see, like, we speculate on a lot of potential news, and like when I first found out, I was just hoping Ubisoft could squash this leak, but it just blew like wildfire.
Yeah. That's why I said that I don't want to look at these new leaks because they haven't fixed what's with the other operators already. That's already an issue. And like as you said, when Habana came out, she was a mess and has been for a long time. Like her hitboxes were all over the place for a very long period of time. And I think
her pellets.
Yeah, the pellets was only fixed there only recently in a recent update. I think you look at it, most of the issues I'm seeing from a lot of people is they're not getting a headshot. That's the thing that people are complaining about, like 24/7. All I hear is I shot her in the face or I shot him in the face, and there was
mainly Ash.
Yeah, mainly
Ash and Habana, yeah.
We've talked to you about Ash. I don't even want to talk about Ash, to be honest. So I think, I don't want to really look more into these leaks and all these issues until they fix what's going on right now. And Operation Health is something they've been slowly moving along with, but just haven't, really pushed at it. And I hope this last update will do a bit more. But you can already see there's just people posting new stuff every day with problems with the game, and that's a scary thing. Yeah. It really is.
I have a question. I know you guys don't want to talk about this potential leak, but they did the picture in the leak has a potential something that could change the game for a lot of us. Is like one of the weapons the operator had like she looked like she was holding a handgun or a secondary pistol, and there was like a sight, a scope on it,
like a red dot.
Oh, like a red dot. So since ICCat, you're more on the technical side and the strategic side. What do you think if they add a scope to the game? For secondaries?
Well, I think that it's something that a lot of people have been asking for, because one problem that I noticed when I aim down sights with the pistol is you're essentially covering whatever it is you're aiming at, which is not something you get so much when you're doing it with a primary weapon. Mm-hmm. So with the pistols, you're almost obscuring your own line of sight sometimes because the iron sight posts on there are so small. So that would allow you to be able to line up your targets a lot more accurately with still being able to see your line of sight. And I think that might be an interesting thing. Now, we don't know if this is something that's specific to this one operator. Again, this is all speculation if this picture was even a legitimate leak or not. But if it was, and if this is not just that operator's ability, if this is a whole new class of attachments like we saw with some other things came out when we had like the angled foregrip and some other things, for instance, what would this do to somebody that uses their pistol primarily when you have like a Caveta who that's her ability centers around her pistol. If she gets access to a new feature like this, will that make her that much more powerful and indirectly buff that? You know, what does that mean for the broader game?
Yeah.
Abort. Don't go there. Honestly, red dots on Kevy. I don't want to hear anymore. I'm gonna leave.
I'm out of here as well. Not sticking around for that.
No, see, like personally, I think Alan would agree with me. Like, pistols are pretty good in Siege. The only thing that's, they kill everything. Kills in one bullet to the head, right? I think what damage is not necessarily an important thing in Siege. What matters is accuracy, recoil, fire rate. And pistols have a pretty unlimited fire rate as long as you have a trigger finger or whatever, and they're fairly accurate. Obviously, with the exception of the Desert Eagle and the Magnum. Magnum's not too bad. But you get my point. It's like what balances the pistols out and makes them not a viable primary option, because, I mean, in other shooter games, people run around with pistols like CSGO. I know they'll have the money rounds, whatever, but like the last thing I want to see happen to Siege is a Kavira running around with a red dot shooting me across the map because she has crazy accuracy on my head. You know, it's like, I think maybe certain operators, like, could you imagine, like, IQ's pistol is very good. Can you imagine that with a red dot? Be insane. You should just run around with a red dot. So,
yeah.
I don't know. I think it's, if it is real...
You see it in other games. You know, you see it in Call of Duty. They have attachments on pistols. I just don't know if it is it the right fit for Siege to have it on them. It have to be very specific to operators. If you, like, as we said already, you know, if you have it on Kavira, that's not something you already want. Like, she's already got a very powerful, damaging pistol to throw a scope on it for her to look already. You see even with the SMG-11 when they had the ACOG scope on it. I mean, that was just absolute madness, like, you know.
Yeah.
That gun was just so OP because of that. And I really hope that if they are doing this, they take the right approach to it and they don't mess it up, because, again, they've already got so many other things on their plate. They don't want to make more mess. And I feel like that's something that they've been doing a little bit. They fix something new happens. And that's always with every game. As I said, you know, I've worked in game development, so I see how difficult it is to fix many issues at one point in time. And that's always going to be a case with any game. But with Siege especially, because it's such a unique game that has been designed, it's one of the first of its kind in the way it works and how the operators work and the game style. It's always going to be a lot harder for them to do that. Yeah. There's no doubt.
So, talking about which operators, you know, and their abilities are maybe balanced or not balanced, and to your point, like when they did introduce new categories of attachments, they limited it so only certain operators had access to the angled foregrip, or only certain ones had the extended barrel, what have you. But today, at least as of the recording of this video, they put up on the forum and the subreddit a survey that was asking the community's opinion on what they thought were like the top 3 best operators or the top 3 worst, and then which ones were like the best operator for new players and the worst operator for new players. And so just as kind of an extension of that, I just wanted to kind of get your guys' opinion. So let's start with maybe the new player question first. If you had somebody that's completely brand new to the game, just real quick for each of you, which one operator do you think you would recommend and be like, yes, that's a good one for you to start with, and then that's like one you should never touch because it's too complex?
For new players, I think Thatcher and Thermite are a good option, right? I mean, do you know, kind of... No, hold on, let me explain this. I mean, for casual and ranked, they're a good... I mean, in high up levels, you have to be really precise and specific when you use those operators in conjunction. But when it comes to newer players, you don't want a newbie running around with Cavi, right? You don't want someone running around kind of roaming, trying to go for kills. You want them to learn how the objectives work. You want to learn how to open up areas around the objective. You want to really get them objective orientated when they're first starting off, because, you know, last thing you want is people giving out to them for being, you know, I would say the word, but kill something anyway. You know, they run around and just get kills all day. And I think Thermite, Thatcher are good options. Jeez, I mean, I would say Shield too, but I mean, they're actually, you don't want a noob with a shield. That actually does take skill, surprisingly, to run around with a Montaigne. So, honestly,
the question you're asking is for someone new, and
so someone
if someone's new coming to the game and they're looking at if someone asks the question, what's the best operator to use, you got to think to yourself, well,
that's the wrong question.
They're new to the game, you know, so you have to be very particular about what operator you want them to use. I mean, you already know what the best operators are. You already look at Ashe. Like, Ashe is just crazy. Now they give him her stuns, she's just god mode kind of stuff, you know?
Yeah,
running around like crazy. Her hitbox is already a disaster. You're already in trouble when she's running at you in the map. You're in big trouble. So, of course, if a new person knew that, they'd probably run Ashe, you know? Personally, I normally run Twitch. I think Twitch is a great operator. I love using Twitch because of her F2 or F2. The FAMAS is just an incredible weapon. As long as you can control the recoil, you are a boss using Twitch. There's no doubt about that. And then you look at, like, you know, best operators, worst operators. I think Siege has kind of gone a little bit with, you know, some of the operators are never used anymore. You know, Tachanka is always, Lord Tachanka is always something that's kind of left on the
thermal
fence.
vision.
Yeah, so I think he's kind of always left there, even though he's like the god of Siege. I just think that, you know, something needs to be done in terms of pick rates. Pick rates are a problem on Siege. You know that already. There's always the same operators you see when you're playing. Even in Pro League, they always run the same strats, the same kind of operators. I think they need to do something to kind of increase those pick rates on other guys. They've tried it.
I want to see IQ. I want to see IQ and Capcan get more picks. I think they can actually buff Capcan and at the same time buff IQ just by buffing Capcan. Like, I think if they made this might be controversial. I want to hear what you guys think. Actually, I'm going to throw a question your way. How would you like to see a Capcan laser that is invisible? You have to actually check the door frames. Okay. It would slow down the pace of the game too.
I'll let Icy Cat answer that first, and then I have my own little spiel about what you guys answered.
All right.
If you remember, there was actually a glitch. Oh gosh, what was that? Back in Dustline, maybe?
You're right. It was season 1.
Season 1 or season 2.
I think it was during Dustline. There was somebody figured out a way to glitch it so that you would have an invisible laser beam on there. Now this is when you could still see the other end of the screw attachment coming through the other side of the wall. But I don't think I ever actually got killed by any of the invisible lasers because I always looked for the emitter box. Because now the strategy of remember at the time, this is when the laser beam still looked like a lightsaber, and since they brought the brightness of it down a bit. So at the time, there wasn't a strat to leave it in an open doorway that you would just run through. So you were always looking when you were breaking the door open. So I would always break it low and look for the emitter. So I didn't have the problem of running into it. Plus, I ran a lot of IQ, and so
you're telling me that every single time you have never, ever ran into an invisible Capcan by looking for the emitter in every single room now that you've ran into.
Icy Cat's a very patient player. He will use the full 4 minutes and 3 minutes of the game. Okay.
Well, I mean, that's, as I said, like, quickly answering it, if you're new, like, Ashe Jaeger is everyone's thing. That's the thing people complain about. That's all the haters saying that, oh, you're an Ashe Jaeger main. Okay. If you told a new person that, then that's it, you know?
Okay, I have a completely different perspective than you guys. But first off, actually, I've been part of Diamond Rank in the last 4 seasons of Siege on PC, and Capcan current one still surprises people, and you still can get Capcan kills at high Platinum and Diamond level. It still surprises you because you don't expect it. 2, for beginners, I suggest picking a class that's not vital to a team because, like, Thermite, if he dies, he can't open. If he doesn't know bandit trick, doesn't see lasers on the wall. I suggest picking like a Sledge. You know, you can lose Sledge, but he can still open stuff unless there's a castle. And I suggest like a Rook, unless someone wants Rook and kills you for a Rook and says Rook mine. But like Rook, Doc, anyone that's stationary on the site that doesn't like take away major gadget ability is a way to learn the game. And I always suggest start situations. It kind of it doesn't do a great job, but it helps you get into what Siege is. That's my suggestion. Like, pick someone that's not viable, that's detrimental to take an objective.
I 100% agree at a higher level. But with skill-based matchmaking, if you're new to the game, if you're truly new and you're level 1 and you're playing casual, I completely see what you're saying. Versatility with Sledge, your team's not dependent on you. You just get to learn the game, whatever. But what are they learning though? Like, you know, they're kind of just learning the map design. They're learning how the mechanics work, and then later on they're going to have to learn how the objectives work. I mean, if I remember correctly, I think the first operator I ever picked was Castle and Ashe. And I remember just having complete anxiety attacks in the objective playing as Castle. You know, I just locked myself off. It was the first night. I'd never played Siege before. It was midnight release. I castled off the room and I was sitting in the corner, literally shaking in real life. You know, it was, I think that's one experience that I think everyone that goes to play Siege initially should try to experience. Is they should try to understand the objective first, and then learn how to roam and manipulate the map. Yeah. I think it's subjective. It's your own personal opinion. You know, neither one is right or wrong. It depends on the person. So.
Hey guys, thank you so much for coming on the show. It's awesome to see a different side of community where you find this strategic style, and also that what you said, it was something different in Siege that was like wanting to continue watch and your time just flies by. So if people haven't checked out any of your channels, how can they find you guys?
Type in the Dangleberries on YouTube. It's TheDangleberries, and we should come up, hiding spots, whatever. So.
Thank you guys so much for coming on the show, and my co-host Icy Cat. If you guys want to see any of your favorite Siege members on this podcast, feel free to reach them any way possible and tell them to contact me, and we'll try to get them in. And if you have any suggestion and feedback for the Siege report, leave in the comments below. We'll see you guys next time.